now joined by the CEO for Siemens Southern and Eastern Africa, Sabine Dall'Omo. With the South African economy in need of recovery after the fall from the initial high of ramaphoria, she joins me now to unpack the contribution that Siemens is making specifically towards building the country, and also how they are helping drive the National Economic Development Plan. National Development Plan. There you go. Sabine, thanks so much for your time there. Right, so Siemens, you're doing quite a lot to, help a government. What are you doing in the way of developing local jobs and skills? How much jobs created so far in the past year?
Well, in South Africa specifically, we as Siemens obviously address a significant number of the elements of the National Development Plan.
Sure.
And here particular energy transmission generation, renewable energy, healthcare, infrastructure, mining activity and other industrial activity. So hence our business model fits very nicely to the National Development Plan.
Sure.
Coming to your question, we have about 1,400 people working in Siemens South Africa. And around that is not only the numbers which we employ directly, because as you know, the Black Economic Empowerment Scorecard does require companies to also source local skills from small, medium enterprises. So in totality, with all the contractors and the companies where we are sourcing from, we have about a multiplier by 10. So about 14,000 jobs are assigned to our activity here in South Africa.
Sure, that's quite a lot of jobs, especially given the fact that the economy is not in the best position. And value-adding innovations, what role is Siemens playing there?
Well, here specifically, in the light of digitalization and Industry 4.0, we do see that specifically in engaging with industries, but also with government, to see how we can basically apply these new technologies in our solutions here in the country. And like for instance, we have some of the applications with Eskom, specifically in one of the new power stations, a simulation in order to start up, for instance, the power station. That would be specifically in that field of innovation.
And how is, just to stay on Eskom now, now they're trying to sort things out for themselves. What's your view on what's going on in Eskom, both the past and the future that they're trying to build for themselves? And how does it impact on Siemens' work?
Well, what it will impact on the business going forward, and here not necessarily only for Siemens, but for the total industry, is definitely depending on what will be available later on for spend, and how the maintenance regime will look like for the individual power stations, but also for the transmission and distribution system. But when we look at Eskom, the management normally doesn't really much affect the business dealings, which what we are doing. So the company per se has a high level of competence in our activities where we have interaction with. And we do see that specifically they are open for new technologies, also to see improvements in their productivity and in the reliability, specifically in the power stations.
Well, climate change, it's a big deal globally, except in the US. I don't know, in some corners there. But in terms of how Siemens is reducing its carbon footprint here, which is also a big part of the National Development Plan, what action has been taken there?
Well, specifically our goal is to be in 2030 in line with the National Development Plan at a CO2 emission value of 0, means our production, or if we have CO2 emission, that we offset that with other activities. And for instance, here in South Africa, we just have introduced a solar grid for our Siemens compound in Midrand, of where we basically feed 70% of our energy, which we use from solar and sun, and we will have a battery storage for it, so that we also can run that then overnight. And that definitely makes a significant implication on our consumption and our footprint. But also we do try, like for instance, technology like electrical cars, which we use specifically for the transfers between our headquarters and outside locations in Johannesburg, so to really make a big effort to ensure that we reduce our emission.
In terms of improving the quality of life, because right now we're talking about growth that needs to be inclusive for all. It needs to be inclusive for women. It needs to be inclusive for those that were marginalized. We're also talking about improving our healthcare, because healthcare on the continent also not in the best state at all. Siemens' contribution to this?
Well, 34,000 patients are daily treated by Siemens technologies, be it in the private or in the public sector. And we have one of the partnerships which we are dealing in Durban, in the Nkosi Albert Luthuli Hospital, where Siemens Healthcare is in partnership with the government of KwaZulu-Natal, and where we together with 5 other companies run the hospital to deliver optimized public service.
The investment pipeline, because ultimately if South Africa is going to really move the needle, we need companies like Siemens and other multinationals to invest. But companies are not really ready to invest because they think we still don't have our house in order. What's your view?
Well, you see, from the investment point of view, what is absolutely crucial in South Africa is, from our point, that the constitution remains untouched. And this is just a sign of having stability in legislation.
Are you talking about land, the land part of the constitution issue, specifically? Yeah.
The land issue is not so much an issue for us because to a great extent we will rent property and it is not really a big issue. It's more a fundamental topic of when you touch this document, which is so vital to South Africa, we do believe then when you touch it once, you might touch it twice. So hence policy stability is very important. What has been given as a preference for South Africa is that over the last year, since 1994, we have policy stability to a great extent under the leadership of the ANC in South Africa, and that gives a certain comfort what you can expect going into the future. And also the current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, has made respective comments of where he wants to see partnerships between business and public sector, but also giving confidence to business that will be in focus. So hence we do not see a significant holdback on that part. We do believe in Siemens still that South Africa to a great extent is a gateway into the African market. We see that a lot of skills which we require for our business are available in South Africa. We can source them here, and we are investing into South Africa, not only with CO2 activities in order to reduce CO2 emission and have solar plants, but also in our production facilities. And we're very proud to be in South Africa because we do believe that the benefits this country has by being the only diversified economy on the continent makes a big difference to specifically the skills and the resources we require.
Well, Sabine, thanks so much for your time. We will leave it there. That was Sabine Dall'Omo, who is the CEO for Siemens Southern and Eastern Africa.